Do more business news. The economic management team of government is set to embark on its first public engagement tomorrow. So who are the members of this team and what are they likely to discuss? That's more in the following report.
The team can be described as the highest economic
decision-making body
of this administration and often has the final say on any economic program or policy before cabinet approves it. The team is chaired by Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Other members include the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, Energy Minister John Peter Amewu, Trade Minister Alan Kyerematen, the Agric Minister Dr. Usu-Efria Akoto, Professor George Bafo, Dr. Anthony Akoto-Osei, Prof. Joao Makutufo, who is the secretary to the committee. According to government, it is critical that Ghanaians appreciate the workings of this team, and therefore they are hoping to use tomorrow's engagement to highlight what they actually do, as well as address some lingering questions about the economy.
So Raymond Akwa is here to help us understand what this whole town hall meeting tomorrow is about. Thanks so much for your time on Business with Ms. Sandra Feno.
Thank you, too.
All right, so Raymond, walk us through. Yes, we know the issues. We know the CD has not been performing well. We know the debt stock has gone up by 30 billion, actually, and it's actually at 173 billion now as of December 2018. We have power issues as well. Do we need a town hall meeting to be able to understand the issues and address them?
Perhaps yes, on the substantive issues, for example. There have been a lot of speculation about what the main drivers of the current depreciation of the cedi is supposed to be. You know, you've heard some say that the speculation was largely driven by the last-minute introduction of some 7-point, what they call it, prior approvals from the IMF, which triggered the market to think that there was something going on in the country, and also the decision by the Bank of Ghana to reduce the prime rate 100%, 100 basis points, and all of that. All of those culminated into some investors agreeing that they'll take out their money. You have firsthand the people that are managing the economy, telling you specifically what is happening. I understand you when you say that some of this is
because the issues has been in the media. We've been talking about it. Finance minister has been in Parliament.
I was particularly worried about he coming in at that time to raise those issues because I felt this would have been the appropriate time for this to happen. Now, I also suspect that there are key issues the vice president is going to raise, different from just telling us the current situation. He's not going to only tell us how the city is supposed to fare and what's been happening over the period. He will tell us when, and this is more of a forum on the political economy in the country. Don't make a mistake about that. He'll tell us where they took off in 2016, the state of the economy at that time. He would project it into currently where we are. He's more likely to project a very wonderful picture of what this government has done. Then I suspect he's going to make some very big announcements too. So you've heard the president give us an inkling into whether or not we are going to have some reduction in the duties at the ports and all of that. This will be a very wonderful platform. Mindful of the fact that the guy has been working on some of these things. You remember, paperless, what they call it, ports and all of that. He's been championing that. If there is any substantive reduction or change going to happen on duties at the port, he's more likely to make that announcement tomorrow. So it's not only going to be talk about GDP, inflation, and the other things that we know of the economy and the fundamentals, and he's more likely to tell you that, listen, we are not to blame directly for the current depreciation.
But Raymond, what do you say to critics who say that we've moved from the political campaign era where we have to address the issues? You don't need to tell us where you took from, where you were, and where you need to tell Ghanaians where you are now and how you are solving the issue. So going back to what it was and what you've not been able to do, are you solving the issue in any way?
On the other side, to be fair, we are actually heading towards the campaign period rather. This is 2019. The next year is the election year.
Right, you're right.
So, and especially, he particularly, the leader of the economic management team, has been singled out for attacks from several quarters. I'm sure you would know that when the cedi depreciation happened.
Over to you, Bawumia was trending as well, yeah.
So, I mean, he will find this opportunity to also hit back, respond to some of these issues. And I'm saying that beyond all of this, there is something that should calm Ghanaians in his speech. Which expectation will be
what should that be? What should that be? Because we've heard the finance minister in Parliament. So what should he say differently that will calm nerves down?
I was telling you about this particular duties at the port thing. I'm convinced he will make that declarative statement as to whether there's going to be a major change in the amount people pay at the ports.
Right.
Step in the right direction. He is also more likely to speak to other main government policies, which perhaps you might not have heard of, which have been implemented by this government. He's not only going to complain about the past, he's also going to virtually outline what this government is going to do to make you more comfortable in this country, because that is what perhaps the economic management has been doing for a very long time without we hearing them. Again, he's also going to sit with the other team members, the finance minister, and the other people, including the energy minister. Questions in those directions are actually supposed to be addressed by these people. Of course, you do realize that the minister himself did not address the energy ministry's press conference a couple of days ago. This is perhaps the forum for you to meet them, and he will tell you that contrary to what you've been made to believe by the NDC, we are doing way better, we are heading in a better direction, and post-IMF, and that's critical for one simple reason. The market listens to what people like him will say about the economy. They know that as head of the economic management team, he has some strength and power to be able to influence that team primarily before it gets to cabinet and for government to make a very powerful decision on that. So he's going to give the confidence to not only the IMF, whose external credit facility is virtually ended, but it's also going to be able to tell them, and we in this country, that we are not going to overspend. They're not going to live outside our means going into the next year, regardless of the fact that it's an election year.
Right.
We may repeat what happened in 2004, where we didn't do so and we didn't need the help of the IMF to come and help us do anything good in this country. So there are a lot of positive sides to, and for political gain, largely, to doing this. But how many times have we had? Don't forget, we did the very first forum here with the vice president in his first 100 days. You do recall that. This is going to be in a similar mode. And for the next week or two, virtually every conversation in the country was on the things that he talked about.
Right.
This is a similar reaction that the government wants to put out there. Set the stage for conversations. Let people understand what's really happening in the economy. Explain to them the successes that are being chopped, especially one that he, the vice president, led.
Finally, before you go quickly, on the CD, businesses will be watching. They will be listening tomorrow. How different. It was over to him. He was quite silent on it for a long time. What should he say about the CD tomorrow?
Okay, so we should understand why he wants to be silent. Because after the engagements with the IMF, the market feared. And I understand that even they reached the point, the prayer approvals had inclusive in some of the very last minute introduction of directions that we ought to meet before we go forward. We having not to use net international reserves, which is mostly where we get the money to shore up the CD, and it's doing very bad from the IMF. So now, as we speak today is virtually the day that we are saying that, oh, we are done with extended credit facility with the IMF, right? Tomorrow, he has the boldness to come and explain to you that this is why we couldn't intervene. Our hands were virtually tied to some things that now we are over it. We can promise you the economy is on the right footing, and we'll be able to weather any other storm, regardless of it being external or internal, going into the next year and the year ahead. That is what the businesses will be looking out for. As to whether they would actually do it, might also be a different thing altogether. Anyway.
All right, so thank you so much, Raymond Akwa. I'm sure the businesses will be listening tomorrow and hoping to hear something good regarding their business. So the commodity market and crude oil gained some 30 cents to trade at $69.28 a barrel. The commodity news is next. So much for your time on Business with me, Sandra Esinamafun. You can get more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Have a great evening and